Bubble. I have no idea what the plot was. What actually happened? I can't seem to remember. I'm not going to be persuaded by crisp animation, emotional music, and parkour to say this was a good film. Something was missing. Something vital that every movie needs. Oh yeah, structure. There was none. We went from point A to point B with pretty much no conflict. No real challenge for any of the characters to resolve. Now I can sit here and praise Bubble for its gorgeous animation, impressive direction and choreography, which it fully deserves. However, a key and necessary element in any movie is the story. What impact does the story have on the characters? What do they learn? Do they change? What was the overall message to take away from here? And that's what's really disappointing about this film. It doesn't offer much. It's a vibes movie, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. It's visually interesting enough to immerse you into the world, which it does to an extent. What was lacking for me was the development of the characters, in particular Hibiki. The world of Bubble is intriguing, setting up this post-apocalyptic city that looks magical and exciting, but can also be dangerous and damaging. The shots of the parkour are amazing to gaze upon. The level of animation is at its highest form, and when they're executed to look like it's been achieved through one take, it's even more impressive. Alright, let's try to break this down starting from the beginning. So imagine this Bubble world as this giant, bustling society where everything seems perfect on the surface. It is of course set in Tokyo, once a bustling metropolis, now isolated and transformed by the inexplicable phenomenon of bubbles that defy gravity. This setting sets the stage for the story of survival and adaptation. Within this altered landscape, Tokyo becomes both a playground and a battleground for the young people who have lost their families, struggling to find their place and make sense of their new reality. Hibiki, as the central character, embodies the spirit of resilience and defiance against the odds. As a young person navigating this transformed world, Hibiki's journey may symbolize the search for identity and purpose amidst chaos and uncertainty. His interactions with the other characters, including Uta, who fades into bubbles. Her relationship with Hibiki is the core of the story. The theme of transformation, as seen in the reference to The Little Mermaid, adds another layer of depth to the story. Much like the mermaid who longs for a different existence, the characters in Bubble may grapple with desires for change and a yearning for something beyond their current circumstances. The bubbles that defy gravity could serve as symbols of hope, dreams, or even fleeting moments of beauty in an otherwise bleak world. Bubble explores various themes of love, loss, and the youth's struggle for identity. As Hibiki and the other characters navigate the challenges of their environment, they may ultimately find strength and purpose in unexpected places, even as the world around them continues to change and evolve. The animation and music in Bubble are top-notch, especially with Studio Wit leading the charge. Studio Wit has a knack for bringing stories to life with their stunning animation style and attention to detail. In Bubble, you can probably expect the animation to be a visual treat, with vibrant colours and smooth movements that really draw you into the world of the story. From the apocalyptic state of Tokyo to the surreal landscapes created by the bubbles, every scene is likely crafted with care and creativity. And let's not forget about the music. A great soundtrack that can really elevate the mood and emotion of a story, and Bubble is no exception. With Studio Wit's collaboration with talented composers, the music adds depth and atmosphere to each scene, making the viewing experience even more immersive and enjoyable. When animation and music come together seamlessly, it's like magic on screen. They have the power to transport you into another world and make you feel a whole range of emotions along the way. With Studio Wit's track record for excellence, it's no surprise that Bubble delivers on both fronts, making it a must-watch for anime fans everywhere. So while the characters are intriguing and have potential, I felt that they lacked significant growth or development throughout the film. For example, Hibiki and other central characters might start off with interesting traits or motivations, but they may not undergo meaningful changes or confront their internal conflicts in a way that feels satisfying. As a result, the characters may come across as somewhat static or predictable, which was a letdown for me because I was hoping to see them evolve over the course of the story. Nothing really progressed with any interest. Pacing is crucial in storytelling, and in Bubble, some story arcs or lack of suffer from pacing issues. Certain scenes or sequences might feel drawn out or repetitive, leading to a sense of stagnation and making it difficult for viewers to stay engaged. When Uta and Hibiki work as a team to beat their parkour rivals, it just lacks any real tension. You knew they were going to win, the music was too predictable and gave you a pretty good idea where the narrative was heading. Slow pacing can also impact the overall momentum of the narrative, which caused me to lose interest and become impatient for the story to progress. When the pacing is off, it can disrupt the flow of the narrative and detract from the overall viewing experience. As the film approaches its conclusion, I found that the third act of Bubble felt rushed and hastily resolved. Important plot points were resolved and introduced without any adequate build-up or explanation, leaving me feeling somewhat unsatisfied with the outcome. This rushed storytelling diminished the impact of key moments and prevented me from fully investing in the resolution of the story. A rushed third act can also create a sense of inconsistency within the narrative, and this is where I really struggled to reconcile with the sudden shifts in pacing and tone, because nothing felt emotionally impactful or deserved. There was no time to let Hibiki and Uta's romance evolve, mainly because it didn't have any conflict until the end. They needed more obstacles to grow their relationship in the second act, and winning more parkour tournaments is not what their love story needs. While Bubble may have its strengths, such as animation and music, its weaknesses in character growth, pacing, and storytelling execution detract from the overall enjoyment of the film. Maybe it seems like an easy trope to use, but this movie could have done with an adversary that really challenged Uta and Hibiki. And that would have to be in the conventional form of a typical villain. No story needs a villain, but in the case of Bubble, the narrative was lacking conflict and it just needed a boost to engage my interest. It could have done with a mysterious and menacing villain linked to Hibiki. He could be a bounty hunter who appears in the beginning chasing Uta, whose power contains energy that is highly sought after from billionaire entrepreneurs. This could be a great tone setter for what to expect. A tale of romance and adventure combated by foreboding presence. Something like this that would add extra conflict to the plot would have made Bubble a far more engaging film, and the link that draws Hibiki and this theoretical villain would draw back to his tragic past involving his parents. Bubble offers an intriguing adaptation of The Little Mermaid, but in all honesty, whenever they reference the classic fairy tale, it just made me want to watch the Disney version from 1989 over this. In the third act, where the bubble activity really becomes noticeable, leading to Uta heading to Tokyo Tower to stop it and Hibiki going to save her. This whole sequence felt incredibly anticlimactic to some because the stakes were so underwhelming. A huge reason for the anticlimactic feeling is the lack of build-up and tension leading to this pivotal moment. Effective storytelling often relies on a gradual escalation of stakes and tension, building anticipation and investment from the audience. However, if the build-up is insufficient like the third act presents itself, the climax falls flat, and I'm left feeling frustrated, and also thinking that I just wasted 90 minutes for nothing. The resolution of the conflict at Tokyo Tower did not deliver the emotional impact or sense of catharsis that you would want from a climactic scene. If the resolution in any story is rushed or lacks meaningful consequences, it can diminish the significance of the events unfolding on screen. In this case, if Uta's attempt to stop the bubble activity and Hibiki's efforts to save her are resolved too quickly or easily, it comes across as a really unsatisfying outcome. Furthermore, if the characters' motivations and relationships are not fully developed or explored leading up to this moment, the jeopardy of the whole scene is completely undermined. I wanted to feel invested in the characters and their journey to truly appreciate the significance of the climax, but it wasn't to be. In anime, the lack of a strong central plot can be acceptable, especially in slice-of-life genres where the focus is on character interactions, everyday life and personal growth. In such cases, the absence of a complex narrative is compensated by the exploration of nuanced emotions, relatable experiences, and the development of authentic relationships among characters. In the case of Bubble, the anime presents a world that is rich in supernatural lore and post-apocalyptic politics, suggesting the potential for an intriguing narrative with layers of depth and complexity. But the construction of such a detailed and imaginative world sets high expectations for viewers, who anticipate a narrative that explores the intricacies of this setting and delves into the consequences of its supernatural elements. Despite the fascinating world building, Bubble falls short in delivering an equally compelling narrative to complement its intricate setting. The lack of a strong central plot or cohesive storyline can leave viewers feeling disconnected from the events unfolding on screen. While elements like romantic chemistry between characters such as Hibiki and Uta are present, they may not be developed enough to carry the narrative or provide a satisfying emotional payoff for audiences. What surprises viewers about Bubble is the discrepancy between its captivating world building and its narrative execution. While the anime constructs a visually stunning and immersive world, it struggles to translate this richness into a coherent and engaging storyline that fully utilizes the potential of its setting. While the construction of a captivating world is impressive, Bubble needed to convey an equally intriguing narrative that complements and enhances the setting, providing viewers with a satisfying and immersive viewing experience. Bubble is a huge disappointment for me because I was in search of a well-grounded and engaging storytelling experience. While the anime dazzles with its crisp animation, emotional music, and parkour sequences, these elements alone are not enough to salvage its shortcomings in storytelling. One of the most glaring issues with Bubble is its lack of structure and conflict. The narrative progresses from point A to point B without significant challenges or character development along the way. Despite the intriguing world building and potential for exploring post-apocalyptic themes, the anime fails to capitalize on these elements to create a compelling storyline. While the characters, particularly Hibiki, showing promise as embodiments of resilience and defiance, their arcs remain underdeveloped and lacking in meaningful growth. The romantic chemistry between Hibiki and Uta fails to provide a substantial narrative anchor and feels overshadowed by the lack of conflict and tension throughout the story. The pacing issues further detract from the viewing experience, with certain scenes feeling drawn out and repetitive, while others are rushed and lacking in emotional impact. Although Bubble does offer an intriguing adaptation of The Little Mermaid and presents a visually stunning world, it ultimately falls short in delivering a cohesive and engaging narrative that complements the imaginative setting. Despite its potential, the anime struggles to balance world building with storytelling, resulting in a disjointed and underwhelming experience. In the realm of anime where storytelling is paramount, Bubble serves as a reminder of the importance of crafting a compelling narrative that resonates with audiences. While its flaws may disappoint, they also highlight the complexities of storytelling and the challenges of balancing visual spectacle with substantive storytelling. As viewers continue to seek immersive and captivating narratives, Bubble stands as a cautionary tale of the pitfalls of prioritizing style over substance in storytelling.